What's up, guys? This is Omari, and today we are going over the 5 best ways to promote your music online in 2020. And the angle I'm actually going to hit this from is through all the different platforms. So I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of each platform when promoting your music. With that being said, the one thing you want to have on the top of your mind at all times is your end goal. So a good end goal is not just, I want to get 1 million streams this year for my song. That's not a very good end goal for your music because it's not well thought out. 1 million streams might be one step in the process to your end goal, but that is not a good end goal for your music. So a better end goal might be, I want to make $10,000 this year from my music. Okay, now you can break that down a bit more and say, that is about 800 some dollars a month. So I need to do these things every month to make at least $800. So with this method, at least in our eyes, you are working towards becoming a full-time musician on a much better track than just saying, I want 1 million streams for this song. Because if you do that, you might just get a bunch of streams from people who aren't as interested in coming to your shows or buying your merchandise, or putting you in the right position to get TV sync licenses. So the best way to approach promoting your music in general is to think of your end goal first, write down your goals, have them be measurable, and at least in our eyes, it's okay to be a hobby artist, but if you want to do music full time, you need to break it down by the revenue numbers. So the first platform we're going to talk about is Spotify. Because everybody's on Spotify, everybody wants to get a bunch of streams on Spotify, but let's think through what is Spotify actually good for and what can be done on Spotify and what cannot be done well on Spotify. So the first thing is that Spotify is kind of like Instagram, where people like to hit the like button a lot on there. They'll save a lot of songs to their library, but that does not necessarily correlate to more ticket sales. Because there's no way to directly contact your audience on Spotify yet. If they fix that in the future, that is great. But whenever somebody hits the follow button to your channel on Spotify, that's pretty much it. There's no way to comment with them. There's no way for them to message you on Spotify. I mean, they can connect with you through your music and the message in your music, but these days there's thousands and thousands of songs coming out every day on Spotify. And so even if you make a great album and a great song, if you don't have those extra touch points, it's going to be really hard to connect with your fans. The next thing to think through with Spotify is the limitation on location targeting. When you get put on the playlist, it's not going to be just people in Austin, Texas, or just people in Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to be people in many locations. And what artists try to do is they try to say, well, I got a bunch of listeners in Atlanta, so that must mean that I should go there and tour. That is not how the logical progression works. Because just because you get a lot of listeners does not mean that these people are going to show up to your shows and they're going to support and buy your merchandise. You might have 10,000 listeners and get 200 saves in Atlanta, but you got 1,000 listeners in Provo, Utah, and 400 of them saved the song. That means that more of them are interested in Utah than they would be in Atlanta. So there's a very limited amount of data that you get with the Spotify for Artists app. It's developing and becoming better, but it still is inferior to YouTube analytics, to Facebook analytics. Instagram analytics obviously would be bundled with Facebook analytics. So Spotify is not a bad platform. I don't want to give that impression, but it is limited in the location targeting. The only way to effectively target by location on Spotify, actually, I'll take that back, 2 ways. One would be through Spotify audio ads, just trying to get the people in your location or certain locations that you want to tour in and thus maximize your revenue. The other way would be to try and shoot social traffic over to Spotify from Facebook or Instagram. A little bit harder to do and honestly a lot longer haul trying to make your money back from that route. So honestly, Spotify is good if you are trying to find out if people like your music. If you want to choose between singles, you'll get a lot more save interaction on Spotify. So you have one single you're not too sure about and you're deciding between them. Spotify is a good route to go with that. So doing the playlist promotions, just getting on genre playlists or similar to your genre playlist on Spotify is fine for finding that out. But if you're trying to plan more tours, Spotify still does have some limitations. The good thing about getting the numbers up on Spotify though is it can be used as leverage. So a lot of times booking agents or labels or whomever is looking at these numbers a little bit more than they should be, honestly, just because of those limitations with the analytics I talked about. But when you have better numbers on there and people, you can show that people are saving the song, they do like this music. You can use it as leverage for getting those TV placements and also booking better paying gigs, things like that. So it's not useless. I'm definitely not saying that. I am saying it is more limited than people are giving thought to. The next one we're going to talk about is YouTube. To be honest, YouTube does not have a lot of downsides. The only downside is that you do have to make some sort of video to put it up. It does not have to be a full-on music video to do well on YouTube. You can just have an album cover artwork video, lyric video, or if you want to shoot a music video, obviously that's fine too. YouTube is also much friendlier for niche genre promotion. So if you make, I don't know, Celtic folk music, YouTube is a lot better venue for that because you can directly find the people who are searching for that genre. Whereas on Spotify, you might have 5, 10, whatever amount of playlists that there are with that genre of music, but there's going to be a limited amount of followers on those playlists. So it's a little bit harder to get in front of the people, especially if you're trying to do an audio ad on Spotify. You really need some expertise doing the audio ads to get them to be effective with the Spotify audio ads versus the YouTube ad platform through Google Ads. Now, any good professional promotion service is going to be able to effectively get you to your niche genre on YouTube. A good thing to do would be to run side-by-side comparison. So when you hire a service like ours, for instance, we have done side-by-side comparisons. We actually encourage artists to do this. So we say, we're going to do our promotion. You take the same amount of ad spend that you would have spent with us and try to do it yourself, maybe on a different video or just in a different time frame than with our service, and see which one does better. Now, obviously, since we're professionals, usually our results are going to be better a grand majority of the time. But all in all, YouTube really does not have a lot of downside. I mean, they do hit the like button a little bit less than the save button on Spotify, typically. But other than that, really cannot go too wrong with the YouTube promotion. Third one we're going to talk about is TikTok. So TikTok is the new kid on the block, but it is exploding right now. And there's a couple ways to promote your music on TikTok. One would actually be to go through Spotify and find the TikTok playlist on there. Some independent curators have built big TikTok playlists, and they might feature you on there if it sounds TikTok worthy. And that phrase we'll dig into in a second, but that is one way to then encourage people listening to the TikTok playlist to start using your music in some of their videos. The second way would be to either go through a service or reach out to TikTok influencers directly. So when you're trying to figure out whether a TikTok influencer is going to be using your song in their videos, you have to look at their past videos and see if your song fits within the things they feature. It's kind of a wild west, honestly, just to be honest with you guys. People trying to force a video force a song onto a TikTok influencer is kind of rough because they do dances to these, they make funny videos, they make subject videos. There's a lot of things people make videos about on TikTok, but whether that's going to hit and become viral or even gain some traction, it's even if you think that this song would be perfect for TikTok, sometimes it just doesn't happen. So the best way to go about it would be to research some of the songs that have gotten popular. Maybe try and build some of the elements into your music if it fits what you're doing. I wouldn't say to completely change your style just for TikTok, but those are some ways to promote your music on TikTok. For number 4, I've grouped them, Facebook and Instagram together. So the best types of videos that work on Facebook and Instagram are not official music videos or just posting a picture and having the song playing. That's not going to perform the best on Facebook and Instagram. What does perform well is very candid, genuine live performances. So even me, just like doing a freestyle or a singing video in my kitchen or a singing video in my car or in the park or in my living room, just wherever, those personal live performances do much better than trying to put out some polished project on Instagram or Facebook. And a good thing to do might be to go to some of the singing pages or musician pages and see what types of content does the best on them. Maybe the goal is not just to go viral on them, but it's just to gain some new fans. So whether you're getting featured through influencers on Facebook and Instagram or trying to run the ads, the best types of videos are not the music videos or lyric videos. The best ones are the candid live performances. And the more creative you can get with them, the better it's going to perform. People on TikTok, for that matter, and Instagram and Facebook reward creativity in the videos. Having a great voice is an asset, but just as important is the creativity in the video. And number 5, last but not least, SoundCloud. So a lot of people ask, is SoundCloud still a viable option? And the answer is, it depends on what genre of music it is. We've done thousands and thousands of promotions on SoundCloud. The best genres are the electronic types. You can also promote hip hop, maybe some R&B and pop. I generally would not promote country music, acoustic based music, classical music, those sorts of things on SoundCloud. And guys, we are a full-scale music advertising agency. Us telling you that, we're telling you the truth, because that would mean we lose money on SoundCloud. We would rather you get better results on YouTube and Spotify for some of those genres than to just try out the SoundCloud promotion. Now, it doesn't mean that every single country song would perform badly, but the majority of them would not perform as well on SoundCloud as your EDM, your future bass, your dubstep, your electronic genres. So hip hop can do pretty well there. Like I said, R&B, pop, some of those more urban genres. The rest of them, I'd steer clear of SoundCloud. Maybe you just post the music there. If you start to see some traction, maybe you could throw some dollars at it. Other than that, I would not bother with it for some of those genres. So that's our video, guys. That's how to navigate promoting your music in 2020. And that is a bigger deal than just us telling you go to Spotify and promote them on the playlist and do that, because you want to know what your end goal is so that you know which platform you should be focusing on. It's not just one. Maybe you do 70% of the promotion on YouTube, or maybe 30% on Spotify, or maybe it's 50-50. I would not have it all be on one platform, even though, like I said, YouTube is typically stronger than Spotify in terms of promotion. More and more people are coming onto Spotify, so if they strengthen some of their back-end analytics and some of their marketing capabilities, then Spotify could jump up in these rankings. But for now, these are our recommendations on promoting your music in 2020. So if you like this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell for notifications. And also comment on this video with your goals for 2020 with your music. And tell an artist, a friend about this if you found this helpful, so that they can get help too.